Dear students, welcome you all to the course that is Fabric Manufacturing Technology. In the previous sessions, we have discussed about what is exactly the weaving is. Okay, so what is the weaving? Weaving is nothing but interlacement of warp and weft threads. Okay, so to produce the fabric, we are interlacing the warp threads and weft threads so that we are going to get the fabric. Okay, and we have seen that particularly, so what are the different primary motions are there? Okay, so what are the loom motions or loom mechanisms are there? Under loom motions, we have seen that there are three categories like primary motions, secondary motions and auxiliary motions. Okay, so in the primary motions category, we are discussing about the shedding. First primary motion is shedding. So the tunnel shape of tunnel kind of warp sheet is going to be formed. Tunnel shape is going to be formed to insert the weft yarn. So the shed is nothing but the warp sheet is going to be divided into the two different sheets. So two sheets it is going to be separated so that the shed is going to be formed. So after the shedding, we have seen that particularly in the shedding, what are the different types of shedding mechanisms are there in case of woven fabric manufacturing technology. So particularly we have discussed about what is exactly the crank shedding is, what is tappet shedding, what is Dobby shedding and what is the jacquard shedding is. So we have seen all four these categories as a brief about these four different shedding mechanisms, okay, in the weaving process. Okay, so now this session specifically we are going to see about the primary motions category. In the primary motions, first one is shedding mechanism or shedding motions are over. Now the second one is picking. Okay, second primary motion is picking and third primary motion is beat up. Shedding, picking, beat up. Now this session particularly we are going to discuss about what is exactly the picking mechanism. Okay, what are the different types of picking mechanisms are available. Okay, and what is the beat up mechanism, how the beat up is going to be taken place in specifically like in the shuttle looms. So we will see that both the picking and the beat up mechanisms in the today's session. Okay, so we will start what is exactly the picking mechanism is. What is exactly the picking mechanism is. Once again, just a look after like what are the contents in the unit, and we are discussing about the cone under pick mechanism and cone over pick mechanism, then beat up mechanism. Okay, so cone over pick and under pick comes under the picking mechanisms. Cone, the beat up mechanism is going to become the last, that is third primary motion in loom motions. Third primary motion. So cone under pick mechanism, cone over pick mechanism and beat up mechanism we will discuss this session. So let us start what is exactly the objective of picking is. What is the objective of picking is? The object of picking is to insert the weft yarn through the warp shed during the weaving process. Okay, what is the objective is? Objective is to insert the weft yarn through the warp shed during the weaving process. Already the warp shed is formed with the help of shedding mechanism. So in the shed, the weft yarn has to be passed or inserted with the help of picking mechanism. Okay, with the help of picking mechanism. Now there are like other objectives, like somebody else also they have given the objective. So the objective of picking, so also the propel, the weft carrying element, there is a weft carrying element like nothing but in the shuttle looms, shuttle is the weft carrying element, and in the shuttleless looms projectile, rapier, air or the fluids are the carrying elements. So, or the Weftian is along the correct trajectory maintaining requisite velocity through the shed in order to provide lateral set of the yarn in the fabric. Lateral set nothing but the weft yarn or pick yarn, that is horizontal thread across the fabric width. Okay. So there is a picking element. There are picking elements. Particularly in shuttle looms, we have a shuttle is the picking element. So particularly the weft carrying element, we can say weft carrying element. Weft is going to be carried with the help of shuttle. So this weft carrying element is going to transfer the weft yarn from one side of the loom to the other side of the loom, or one side of the fabric to the other side of the fabric. Okay. So this is the main objective of picking. This is the main objective of picking. Then what are the different types of picking mechanisms we are using in the case of like the shuttle looms? So, and shuttle-less looms, and shuttle-less looms, there are different types of picking mechanisms. So specific to these two types, that is conventional looms and the shuttle-less loom, that is unconventional looms, the picking mechanisms, you can observe that in conventional picking or conventional looms, we have cone over pick and cone under pick. Over pick mechanism and under pick mechanism. We are going to discuss about specifically now in the unit number 3, we are going to discuss about the cone over pick mechanism, under pick mechanism. Over pick mechanism and under pick mechanism. Now in the further units, we are going to discuss about all the unconventional type of picking mechanisms, picking motions or picking phases, all we are discussing into the next units. So particularly here we are going to discuss about over pick mechanism and under pick mechanism. Okay. And unconventional looms or unconventional picking systems are like a rapier, projectile, air jet and water jet. These are comes under the fluid jet category. And there are multi-phase weavings also. Okay. So the weft, how it is transferring, what is the mechanism or what is the technology involved to transfer the weft yarn from one side to the other side of the shed or one side of the fabric to the other side of the fabric is depend. Okay. So particularly we will start the conventional picking systems, that are over pick mechanism and under pick mechanism. Over pick mechanism and under pick mechanism. We will see these two picking mechanism systems. So we will see that what are the parts in the over pick mechanism, what are the parts in the under pick mechanism, what is the working procedure of this mechanism, we will discuss in detail. Okay, you can see the image where I have shown here. So there is a bottom shaft, that is A is nothing but the loom bottom shaft, and on the bottom shaft we have a picking cam. We have a picking cam and the picking cam particularly. So the bottom shaft, if it is rotating, okay, so along with the bottom shaft, the cam also fixed onto the bottom shaft, so the cam also going to rotate. Now the motion is coming from the bottom shaft. Particularly the motion is coming from the bottom shaft, and on the bottom shaft we have a picking cam. We have a picking cam. This is called as a picking cam. B is called as a picking cam. So in bottom shaft we have both the sides of the bottom shaft. We have two picking cams. One side one, the other side one. Because the shuttle is going to be travel from one side of the shuttle box to the other side of the shuttle box. Okay. So that is why both the sides in the shuttle loom, both the sides we required picking mechanism. Okay. If we are using over pick mechanism, both the sides there is a over pick mechanism. Once again I am telling, this mechanism, whatever it is shown here, over pick mechanism, it will be available at both the sides of the loom, so that the shuttle is going to be transferred from the left hand side to the right hand side to the left hand side. Okay. So you can see that what are the different parts. Now there is a bottom shaft. On the bottom shaft we have a picking cam, and the picking cam is going to give the motion to the C, that is picking cone, that is particularly picking cone which is fixed on the vertical shaft. vertical shaft, or you can see that the D is nothing but the picking shaft. So generally this is vertical shaft we can call, because it is having in the vertical manner. So vertical shaft or picking shaft. So on the top of the vertical shaft or picking shaft we have a caps, and in the caps we are fixed the picking stick. We are fixed the picking stick, that is E. You can see that is E is fixed at the top of the vertical shaft or picking shaft. So E is nothing but picking stick. So this picking stick is at the edge of the picking stick. We have a picking band, that is like a leather band is going to be generally used, or like sometimes the synthetic leather also can be used. So there is a band which is connected to the at the end of the picking shaft, and picking shaft nothing but picking stick. So at the end of this band we have a picker. So this picker is fixed in the shuttle box. There is a shuttle box. Both the sides there are two shuttle boxes. So in one shuttle box we have one picker, other shuttle box other picker. So the two sides of the picking weaving machine we have these two picking mechanisms. Okay. So these are the different parts. Now we will see that how this motion is going to be transferred. How the motion is going to transfer. Motion nothing but the energy is going to be transferred, or rotational movement, or the what is the energy or the motions are coming from the bottom shaft. How it is transferring from one element to the other element we will discuss. Okay. So you can observe that there is a bottom shaft. Okay. And on the bottom shaft we have a cam. Now if the bottom shaft is rotating, along with the bottom shaft the cam also going to rotate. So when the cam is rotating, cam is going to push the picking cone which is fixed on the vertical shaft or picking shaft. Okay. Now the cam is going to push the picking cone which is fixed on the vertical shaft. Now it is pushed. Then what will happen? Now because of the movement which is transferred from the cone, from the cam to the cone, now cone is pushed. So the vertical shaft is going to get rotational movement. So now the vertical shaft, that is picking shaft, which is got the rotational movement. So now what will happen at the end or at the top of the picking shaft, we have fixed picking stick. So once it is rotated, picking stick, what it will do? Picking stick, it will give the motion like this, because the vertical shaft is rotating like this. So when it is rotating like this, picking stick is fixed at the top side. So picking stick will come like this. Okay. So once the motion is given, so at the end of the picking stick we have a band, that is picking band. So at the end of the picking band we have a picker. Now the picker is available or fixed in the shuttle box. So in the shuttle box there is a shuttle. The shuttle is carrying the weft yarn. So once the picker or picking stick is given the motion to the picker will beat the shuttle into the inside of the shed. Into the inside of the shed. So now it is going to beat the shuttle so that the shuttle will transfer from one side to the other side of the shed. So this is the total working procedure of the picking mechanism, that is the overpick mechanism. Cone overpick, why we are talking? There is a picking cone which is fixed on the vertical shaft or picking shaft. So with the help of this we are transferring the motion to the shuttle. So that is why it is called as cone overpick mechanism. Cone overpick. Picking stick is fixed at the top of the loom. That is why it is called as cone overpick mechanism. So this is also the similar kind of thing. Like you can observe that there is a cam which is pushing the cone, or which is fixed on the vertical shaft or picking shaft. so that the shaft will get the rotational movement. At the top of the shaft we have fixed a picking stick, so the picking stick will have a leather strap. So at the end of the leather strap we have a picker, so the picker is fixed on the shuttle box. On the shuttle box, that too the spindle, picking spindle. So the picker is going to give the energy or motion to the shuttle, so that the shuttle will transfer from one side of the shed to the other side of the shed. So nothing but one side of the fabric to the other side of the fabric. So this is how it is going to be worked, that is cone overpick mechanism. So we will have the same thing I have explained here. Okay, so you can see that, you can go through that what is exactly the explanation part is. Okay, and we will have a small video on what is exactly the cone overpick mechanism is, how the cone overpick mechanism will work. Okay, we will watch a small video on cone overpick mechanism so that you can understand more. Okay, then we will go for the second one, that is cone underpick mechanism.
This view depicts the cone overpicking mechanism. We can see that the bottom shaft turns in the clockwise direction. When the crank is at the bottom center, the picking tappet nose hits the cone. The vertical shaft turns partially, which in turn moves the picking stick, and so the picker strikes the shuttle. Thus the weft thread is inserted. The picking stick and the picker then return to their original positions by the action of the spring. A similar mechanism is fitted on the other side of the loom. So when the bottom shaft rotates by one turn, two picks are inserted. This is how the overpicking mechanism works in a loom.
I think you people have got an idea what is exactly the overpick mechanism. Okay, after watching the video. Okay, so now we will move on to the second one, that is cone underpick mechanism. Cone underpick mechanism. So simple, this cone overpick and cone underpick mechanisms are very simple. Okay, so you can observe here in particularly cone underpick mechanism. So you can observe that there is a bottom shaft again. So you have to remember that the driving motion, okay, the motion is going to come from the bottom shaft to any picking mechanism. To any picking mechanism, driving motion is going to come from the bottom shaft. Okay, so on the bottom shaft we are going to fix these picking mechanisms. And one more thing you have to remember, this whatever the picking mechanism we are discussing, this will be available in the loom, both the sides of the loom. Both the sides of the loom there are two picking mechanisms. One after the other it will work. Okay, one after the other. Sequentially, one after the other it is going to work. For example, if the shuttle is transferring from left side to the right side, left side picking mechanism will work. And after transferring, shuttle has to come from the right side to the left side. Then in that case, right side picking mechanism will work. Okay. So like that, alternatively, these two sides of the picking mechanisms are going to work. Okay. So we will discuss this thing like cone underpick mechanism. Okay, cone underpick mechanism. You can see that there is a bottom shaft, and on the bottom shaft we have a nose bit. There is a nose bit, that is cone, that is particular cam. So cam which is having a nose bit at the edge of the cam. Okay, and this nose bit is going to push again, similar like a cone which is fixed on the shaft, that is side shaft. So once the motion is coming from the cam to the cone, then the cone will give an rotational movement to the side shaft. So the rotational movement of the side shaft is going to occur. So after this rotation, then what will happen? So at the edge of the side shaft, we have a lever, and there is a picking strap which is connected to the vertical shaft, vertical picking shaft. So this picking shaft is fixed at the bottom side of the shuttle box, or under the shuttle box. That is why it is called as cone underpick mechanism. Picking is doing from under the machine and under the shuttle box. Okay, that is why it is called as cone under pick mechanism. Cone under pick mechanism. So you can observe that from the bottom shaft to the cam, the motion will transfer. Cam will push the which is cone, which is fixed on the side shaft. Side shaft will going to get the rotational movement. So at the edge of the side shaft, we have a picking strap which is connected to the picking stick, so that the picking stick will beat the whatever the shuttle which is there in the shuttle box. So the shuttle box will transfer from the one side to the other side of the loop. So how the shuttle is transferring? By which means it is transferring? So that is the case like cone over pick and cone under pick mechanisms are. Okay. And picking stick, you can remember that cone over pick mechanism, picking stick will be available at the top of the vertical shaft. So the top side of the machine which is there, and in the side in the cone under pick mechanism, the picking stick is fixed at the bottom side of the shuttle box. Okay, so there are like some advantages and drawbacks of these cone over pick and cone under pick mechanisms. Okay, so these are the two varieties we are going to use in the shuttle looms. In the shuttle looms for pick insertion. For pick insertion, nothing but weft transfer from one side to the other side. Okay, that is the thing. Now you can observe that the same mechanism I have shown again. There is a cone under pick mechanism. So this is called as the side lever under pick mechanism. Okay, side lever under pick mechanism. So the same thing, like there is a front view and there is a side view. Okay, so you can observe that front view, there is a shuttle box and there is a picking stick. So the picking stick motion is going to come from the picking bowl which is fixed on the loom bottom shaft. So along with the loom bottom shaft, this picking bowl is going to rotate. So the picking bowl is going to push down the lever which is side lever it is there. So this is called as side lever under pick mechanism. Side lever under pick mechanism. So from the cone, the motion is going to transfer, from the cam, the motion is going to transfer to the side lever. So the side lever will push the picking stick, so that the picking stick will beat the whatever the shuttle which is there in the shuttle box. Okay, so these are the two different types of cone under pick mechanisms. Okay, cone under pick mechanisms. So you can observe that the image which is showing that the picking stick which is there in the bottom side of the shuttle box. Okay, so there is a picker and there is a spindle in the shuttle box, and at the bottom side of the shuttle box we have a picking stick. Okay, so this picking stick is going to have a motion from the strap or side lever, in both the cases, like side lever under pick mechanism and cone under pick mechanism. Okay, so this is the cone under pick mechanism. We will see a small video on how this cone under pick mechanism will work. Okay, so that you can understand better on the cone under pick mechanism. Okay, then we will move on to the bait up mechanism. Okay, so we will watch a small video, then we will start the bait up mechanism.
The view that we are looking at is the side lever underpicking mechanism. The bottom shaft turns in the clockwise direction. When the crank is at the bottom center, the disc carrying the bowl hits the shoe and the side lever is depressed. This action is now transferred to the picking stick, which turns inward. The picker then strikes the shuttle to insert the weft. The picking stick, picker and side lever are returned to their original positions by the spring. This is how the mechanism works. A similar arrangement is fitted on the other side of the loom, but the bowl is tilted by 180 degrees. So for one turn of the bottom shaft, two picks are inserted.
Nice. You can see that you can understand from the videos what is the cone over peak mechanism and cone under peak mechanisms are. Okay. Then we will see that what is exactly the beat up mechanism is. What is exactly the beat up mechanism is. So what is beat up? Beat up is nothing but the newly inserted yarn. The newly inserted weft yarn is going to push the newly inserted yarn towards the fellow of the cloth. You can see this here. Objectives of beat up motion are, one is called as push the newly inserted peak up to the fellow of the cloth. Okay, up to the cloth fill. And again, the second one, to ensure uniform peak spacing in the fabric. To ensure that what is the peak spacing? To ensure that uniform peak spacing. Peak spacing nothing but the weft yarn to the weft yarn. What is the space in between the two weft threads? Okay, so that is called as the peak spacing. Two peaks, between the two peaks, what is the space? Between the two peaks, what is the space? So peak spacing, whether it is uniform or not, the beat up mechanism is very important in these terms. Okay, so if you are increased or decreased or altered the beat up force, so automatically your peak spacing is going to vary. Your peak spacing is going to vary. That is why in most of the handlooms, all the handloom fabrics, you can observe that there is no uniform peak spacing. There is no uniform peak spacing throughout the length of the fabric. Throughout the length of the fabric. Because these, whatever the peak spacing is maintaining. Now for example, in handlooms, the weaver is started weaving at the morning session. So he have full of energy. So he have more beat up force. Okay. After 2 hours, 3 hours, the energy levels are going to change. So automatically his power to beat the newly inserted weft yarn is going to vary. So the peak spacing between the two peaks are going to vary or altered from starting to the end of the fabric. That is why, so in case of shuttle looms and shuttle-less looms, it cannot be altered. It cannot be altered because the beta force always same. Beta force always same in from the starting of the loom to the ending of the fabric. Starting of the fabric to the ending of the fabric, because it is like a power generated or power or motor operated machines. So it is a machine. So automatically whatever the beta force we have fixed, the same beta force is going to be continued till the end of the fabric formation. Okay, so that is the main thing. Okay, then the beat up is done by the reed. There is a reed. As I told earlier, there are in drawing in indenting operations, there is a reed which is called, which is there or which is fixed on the slave sword, of the machine. So now the reed is consisting of like a reed is, which is it is a metallic bar. So in the metallic bar we have a dents. Like our comb we have, right? Our comb. So there are dents. Similarly here also there is a metallic bar. There are dents. Okay, there are dents in the metallic bar. So these dents, in between the two dents we are going to pass the warp thread. So uniformly like 1 end per dent, 2 end per dent, 3 ends per dent. So in between the two dents, how many number of ends we are passing? 1 end passing or 2 ends passing or 3 ends passing. So this is called as, it is 1 per dent or 2 per dent or 3 per dent. Generally this 1 per dent, 2 per dent and 3 per dent is generally, it is depends upon the design, depends upon the fabric design, whether it is a plain woven fabric or whether it is a twill fabric or there is a Dobby design. So what is the design type? What is the whether it is satin or whether it is a Dobby designs. So depends upon the design, this number of threads drawing through in between the dents are going to be varied. Like that is ends per dent is going to vary. Okay. So then Slade derives its rectilinear reciprocating motion from the rotating crankshaft through the connections of crank and the crank arm, which may a 4-bar linkage mechanism, which may be a 4-bar linkage mechanism. So nothing but there is a crankshaft. Generally there is a bottom shaft. So from the bottom shaft, so there are like a drives which are giving, there is a motor which is connected to the bottom shaft and the crankshaft. So the crankshaft is having two cranks at the two sides of the machine. So these cranks are having connecting arms, so which these two arms are connected to the slave sword. So on the top of the slave sword there is a reed. So the slave sword movement is like forward, backward. So the cranks are moving like this. Okay, cranks are going to move like this. So once it is moving like this, there is a connecting arm which is connected to the slave sword. So the slave sword movement is going to have simple harmonic motion. So the slave sword is going to come forward and beat the newly inserted pick, and it will go back. Okay, after going back, slave sword or reed, then shed opening will be done, picking will be done. After picking, again it will forward. Okay, this is how the beat up is going to occur. Okay, so we will see here. So you can observe that there is a crank which is there on the crankshaft, and the crank is connected to a crank arm, and the crank arm is connected to the sword pin, which is connected to the rocking shaft of the that is rocking shaft or slave sword. So on the slave sword, you can observe that on the slave sword there is a reed cap, there is a reed, and there is a slave sword. Okay, so there is a race board, there is a reed and reed cap. Reed is fixed in between the race board and the reed cap. Okay, so the motion is going to have, so at the bottom side there is a rocking rail. So that is the fixed point where the rocking shaft is going to move forward and backward. Nothing but bottom side it is fixed, but whatever this slave sword is there, it is going to move forward and backward. So how it is moving forward and backward? It is fixed here. So now there is a connecting or to the crank. So the crank is rotating. Once the crank is rotating, it will take back. If it is moved forward or it rotated forward, then it will give the forward motion. So once it is forward, it gives the forward motion. The newly inserted weft yarn is going to be beaten up towards the fell of the cloth. Okay. So this is how the beat up is going to happen. Okay. Now you can see that the same mechanism. Okay, how it is going to work. And we will see a small video on the beat up mechanism so that you can understand more. Okay.
The parts of a beat-up mechanism can be seen here. Look at the crankshaft, the crank arm, connecting pin and slave sword. Now we can see the working of the beat-up mechanism. As the crankshaft turns, the crank also turns. Now the crank arm moves to and fro, and hence the connecting pin and slave sword also move to and fro. This view shows another slave sword on the other side of the loom. The swords are connected by a rocking rail. In this slow motion view, we can see the forward and backward movements of the reed. This is the forward movement of the reed. The reed beats the weft into the fell of the cloth. So, this is how the beat-up mechanism works.
Okay, so you can understand that what is exactly the beat-up mechanism is. So this session particularly we have discussed about picking mechanisms, that is the two conventional looms, that is Shetty looms. Shetty looms, what is the cone over pick mechanism, cone under pick mechanism, and we have discussed about the beat-up mechanism, so which is there in the Shetty looms only. Okay, so cone over pick mechanism, cone under pick mechanism, two picking mechanisms, and one beat-up mechanism we have seen this session. So in the next session we will discuss about the secondary motions. Okay, so till then, thanks for listening. Bye.